Hi, everyone. It's Joe Chadburn, and I'd like to welcome my dear friend, Neda Abadla, an extremely kind hearted, well educated, peacemaking Palestinian sister who currently resides in Istanbul, Turkey. She's the mother of two young children, along with being a writer, translator, English teacher, and projects coordinator, who is the founder of Daisies from Palestine. Welcome, sister.
Welcome, Joe. Good evening or good afternoon, the American time.
Yes, it's 7:30 p.m. your time. So you are a woman of the future and I'm still catching up. I'm 7 hours behind. So but that's all good. So maybe you'll be able to teach me some things from the future and, and our audience today. That is awesome. Now, my dear sister, I have so many questions for you, but let's start out. You are a peacemaking woman who builds bridges across cultures. And what led you to the place to where you are right now? Perhaps some significant milestones, aha moments. I think all of our thinking, as we age, just evolves in the way that we approach things. And so, what's brought you to the place where, and am going to put a plug in for this, where you would contact a guy like me on Facebook and ask me to be one of the speakers on the World Day of Social Justice? You, a precious Muslim sister, and I'm a Christian man here in the United States, and you reached out to me. So that's all part of this. So I'm just deeply intrigued about this. So, what brought you to this place, sis?
Well, first of all, your value matters, Joe, and you're a very good friend and a very good brother. So thank you for this question. Uh, Well, Joe, I believe that every one of us has a milestone or some milestones that change or turned our lives or his or her life upside down. So let me go back to 2014, and I'll take it briefly. I had I was 23, and I had an uncle. My uncle meant the world for me, actually. He was my father, my uncle, my brother, my friend, and my secrets keeper, and the refuge and secure I go to every time I went in troubles. Unfortunately, he had kidney failure. And due to the collapsed and bad health system and entities of the Gaza Strip, he couldn't make a surgery of kidney transplant in Gaza. So he took a permission from the Palestinian Ministry of Health to make the surgery in Egypt. But like all the Palestinians, he can't get out or in of Gaza whenever he like. So he have to wait for weeks and months to get the permission to get out. Despite that, it is a humanitarian case. In that time, while waiting for his name to get to have the permission, a very let's say a very a huge series of terrorist attacks happened in Sinai, which is the Egyptian borders with the Gaza Strip. That terrorist acts happened by ISIS. So the Egyptian authorities decided to close the Rafah crossing, which is the only entrance of Gaza Strip. In that time, so they didn't care about anyone who's waiting for to get out, or for my uncle whose health was getting worse.
Mhm.
And in that time, my uncle's health went very very bad, and we were waiting. And I remember when I was sitting by his side and crying, he told me, maybe this is my fate, and maybe this is God's will. And if this is God's will, it's good. We shouldn't be afraid or sad for God's will, because God's will is good, even if we couldn't understand it in the meanwhile. You should be afraid or get sad of the acts of humans, because it brings the all the evil, not God. So so I'm shaking while saying this. Unfortunately, my uncle passed away before he could make it. And the tragedy was that in the day he passed away, the Rafah crossing was opened. And his name was in the top priority to get out. His name was in the list who he was allowed to get out, but he was already dead. So
I'm sorry, sister.
yeah,
Oh wow.
it's okay. Since then, I decided to be, or decided to work hard on myself to be a decision maker, and to change the life of those people who are like, caged in some kind of a box, and treated like, like animals, or like a third class of humans. Or I don't think that even they are treated like humans, because so what, it was like, so what if another one or if another one died because of the Rafah crossing? Thousands of Palestinians were killed in 2008, 2012, 2014, and 2021, and no one cares. So what if another one has been added to the number of, of dead people? So the that's what made me decided to make something, and to shed the light on the humanitarian stories. I'm not talking about the people who are getting for entertainment. No, for the people who are getting out for a humanitarian need, for health, for medication. Anyway, that was the first milestone in my life. The second one was also in 2014, and it was also because of the closed Rafah crossing. But it is so personal for me. But so I won't talk about the details. But that story left me bankrupted, totally bankrupted. So I was like, it was like a celebrity who's walking and smiling to everyone and laughing, and heads high, and on the red carpet, and someone has just pulled the carpet from under my feet, and it just fall on my face. And I found myself a pregnant woman. um, you know I was only 23 years old, and I just had no choice but to struggle. I couldn't blame others, I couldn't blame myself, I couldn't blame fate. I just find myself in a way that I should struggle and I should fight. So I just discovered one thing, Joe. I discovered that we humans have a very important weapon that is existed in our body. We take it everywhere we go, even to the bathroom, which is our brain, and we barely use it. So I decided to work on my education. I decided to improve my education, my skills, my potential, and my capabilities, and that's what I did. I fighted a lot, and I struggled a lot, and I involved myself in the work of charity and humanitarian work. I worked and volunteered for local CSOs, international NGOs. Among them was Doctors Without Borders and the UNDP. And Joe, every time I help someone, I felt like something inside me is healed, and I'm healing something of the scars inside my body. And every time I get involved in the pain of others, I felt like I'm doing something for myself. And I cried with the people who were crying. I felt the pain of the people, of the mothers who lost their kids, and the kids who are starving of hunger. And every time I went through a new story, I felt like I'm alive. I'm a human. I felt satisfied despite despite the fact that I really need many things. But applying the needs of others makes me feel like human. And I remembered the words of God in Quran, which says, and whoever saves a life, it would be as though he saves the lives of all humans. And I'm
That's
sure
beautiful.
that,
That's
yeah,
beautiful.
Yeah, and I'm sure that similar meanings or similar words are existed in Bible and Torah and other
Hmm.
religions. I'm sure. So,
Yes.
saving the lives here is not all. It's not about the physical meaning
Hmm.
only, or the meaning relates to organs. It's not about this. It's about bringing hope to others. Creating a life inside a dead body, or sorry, a dead heart, making people optimistic, opening new lines of hope inside people. So that's how I just figured out that we should do something to each other, and we should put our hands together, and that's how we could make a sense of our life, and you know we can change something and do something beautiful.
Yes, my faith definitely. Yeah, I believe your uncle is looking on and very proud of you, very very proud of you. And this is
So
this is this is just beautiful how you've allowed your own pain to fuel empathy and compassion and love, and you've gotten better instead of bitter for sure. And I'm just wow, just an incredible human being, an incredible woman. And this is amazing. So what brought you to Istanbul? I'm very interested in Istanbul too. It looks like such a beautiful place.
yeah. Well, since I consisted a family, and and you said that I have two children. The thing is that I didn't want my children to live the trauma I lived. So Joan, I lived three wars: one in 2008, one in 2012, and one in 2014.
Mhm.
And every time I didn't get healed of the trauma of the war. And I every time I remember it, I'm so surprised that I'm still alive, or with my whole mental powers. So
Mhm.
when some attacks happened in Gaza, I used to tell my daughter that these are like like plays or work fire or something like this.
Mhm.
I didn't want her to live the trauma that I lived. And it also was part of my plan to get the suitable education I need to, because it's a part of my plan to be a decision maker, and to be someone that my children will be proud of someday, and to be someone who could change the future for the next generation and for my children. And because it hurts, Joe, because it hurts, because when I left to Istanbul, I arrived Istanbul in March 2000, 2000 sorry 2021.
Mhm.
So in May, another war has happened in Gaza, and I was connecting with my family then, and I was following the news, and I figured out that I couldn't get healed of that trauma, because I lived the war again. Even that the fact that I'm here in Istanbul, I
Mhm.
was seeing nightmares every night, and I was crying every day, because I was afraid of to lose one of my family, like my brothers or my sister or my
Mhm.
mother. So it was it was this was the main reason to get my kids away from war, and to get
Mhm.
the suitable education and improvement, to get back to my country someday as someone who can, or who would do something to my
Yes.
country.
I'm going to say something, and please correct me if I do not have my details right about this. But just so that our viewers really understand what you're talking about when you say wars, uh, a war. When I think of a war, I think about
Two
two
sides, yeah.
equal powers or close to equal powers, and that's not even the case here. Palestinians are in an open
Unarmed.
air, prison
Yeah.
in Gaza, and the West Bank is horrible too. The things that the Israelis and the settlers do there, it's
Yes.
the governments. It's terrible. But we're looking at a nuclear power in the Middle East. We're looking at a nuclear power with an army, a navy, an air force, with highly sophisticated weaponry. I mean, this is a military force. And then we have Palestinians with rocks and very primitive weapons, even rockets. That these are not precision guided, the ones that some groups get hold of. And there's so many people in Gaza don't want to bomb anybody. They just want peace. But when the when the Palestinians, when there are those who retaliate, it's extremely, the weapons are extremely primitive, and it is not like it would be a fair fight anyhow. This is just massacres that are happening. It's ethnic cleansing, and it's horrible. So I don't even like to refer to it really as a war, because it's not a war. It is a vicious bullying attack by occupying predators who are just trying to just impose their will on another precious people who they invaded and occupied and have for 74 plus years. So I just want to I just want to make that clear. This is not highly sophisticated weapons being used by both sides. No. We're not talking about
we
tanks and airplanes and warships. That's not the case on the Palestinian side. So yeah, make no mistake about that.
we call it oppression. Actually, we
Mhm.
call it the for example, the 2008 oppression or the 2012 oppression. But since I'm talking to a international community, maybe they wouldn't recognize what oppression, how
Yeah.
did that happen. So that's why I use the word war, but we
Yes.
use oppression. Yeah, we
Yes,
use
and
the
that's good. I
term oppression.
understand that. I just want for our American and Western listeners and viewers
Thank you.
to get
Thank you
hold of
for the
this. And
clarification. Thank
yes,
you so
yes, and to,
much,
and
Joe.
and to understand the gravity of the situation. And yes, when bombs are raining on you and you don't know if you're going to live another day,
No.
so many people want to flee, and they are scared. I heard recently, and this is in 2021, but there was a family, and the brothers, they split their kids up. They had their children go with the
Yeah.
brother. They split the
Oh my
families
God.
up because if one
That's so
got
true.
bombed, they wanted the children to live. They wanted there to be survivors, and
Yes,
that's no way to live. That is no way to make other people
of
live.
course.
And the fact that you love people, the fact that you have compassion, the fact that desire to reach out. To others, and you have a hope like I do for world peace and building bridges, just means so much to me. And sister, I want to let you know your life is making a difference. You are a gift from Allah, and He is using
Thank
you to
you.
make a difference. And I believe He will continue to. You're a young woman. Hopefully, you have many, many years ahead of you, and never underestimate the impact that you can make just by reaching out to people as you have to me. You blessed my world. You have blessed my world in a very special way, and I trust you're going to bless so many others. So yeah, you're the one who
Thank you.
initiated, yes, contact with me, and I'll be forever grateful for that. Imagine that, a Christian man praying to God. Yeah, and he answers through a precious Muslim woman. And I think that's fantastic. And I support you, love you, and I know anybody who is listening, watching, will be just wonderfully inspired by your life and by what's happening. So I want
Thank
to
you.
ask you, ah what's your vision right now? What's your vision for the world? Yeah, how can what would your advice be to someone who is maybe a little bit shy, a little bit like, well, I don't know if I can really make a difference. What would your advice be to them?
Well, Joe, we all could make a difference. We all can make a difference. But let me tell you what happened with me, and how could I get to know you,
Mhm.
and being involved in this interview. So I believe that communication is very important. So in order to make a good communication process, or a fruitful communication process, you have to master another language inside, besides your own, your mother tongue. And that's what happened with me. My father noticed that I'm so brilliant in English since a very young age. When I was 12, I used to memorize whole poems in English, and I used to write my diaries in English, because I used to think that some gang will take my diaries and read them. So I used to write them in English so no one can understand.
Uh,
So so my father's advice was to me to study English, so I in university. So I decided, not why not making, mixing between English and my passion in writing. So why not making it English language and literature? How that was the beginning, to master another language. Then the
mm,
second one is that I get to use of the globalization that we use nowadays. And despite the fact that I'm a person who hates technology, but I discovered that technology is a weapon with two, with that we can use by two sides, a good one and a bad one.
mhm,
So I used to write my stories, and everything I went through on my Facebook page, and that grabbed the attention of the pro-Palestinian, and they were from the international community. They were from the U.S., from Ireland, from Britain, from Canada, from Australia. And that's how I could make virtual friendships.
mm,
And the point is that it is like we were meeting face to face.
mhm,
And let me tell you the story of me and the Breens. The Breens are an Irish family. I get to know to Michelle, who's the father. Michel is my godfather, actually. And he has three significant, amazing daughters, Sarah, Susan, and Emily. And he introduced me to his whole family. We contact from time to time. We send messages to others, and I tell him about what happened in my day, and I send him stories, and we get to know. I think to each other. I think in 2012 or 2013. And you know what, Joe? The good thing is that until now I don't know his religion. I don't know
mm,
whether he's a Christian or Jew or non-believer, because I don't care and he doesn't care. And the bond between us is humanity and love, not these things that people put, like like walls inside of them, and
mhm,
sorry, in front of them. So what gathers us is humanity and love, and the seeking to peace, and
mhm,
that we all believe that we have values in this life. And I also could get to know to Adele, who's an American. Adele was my writing mentor in We Are Not Numbers, which is the platform I write for. So Adele, was listening to me saying my stories to help me how to write my stories in a good educated way and English. So she was like a psychological doctor to me. She used to listen, and she was sometimes shocked of the things that I tell her. She didn't even know anything about Palestine. When I told her that I'm Palestinian, she said, "Okay, where's Palestine? What is Palestine? What is
mm,
happening there?" Adele's lifestyle and culture is so totally different about me, but I used to tell her that you have a very white heart. She works for a charity or an organization for the homeless animals, and she has a dog that lost his leg, and she's a she's a very soft human. She's very, very kind, and she supported me so much. So that's it was when I communicate with people, I forget about their identity. their religion, the race, the country they come from. The first thing I think about is to make friendship and to spread love and
Mm-hmm.
to get to know to people. It's, as you said, it's building bridges.
Yes.
So yeah, and I also get to know Kevin, and he's from the US, and I think he's you know him.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what, Kevin was the reference for many scholarships I applied for and programs, and he used to help me very well. I know his wife Linda and his mother, and he was very very kind to me. And through the leadership institute by Atlas Core, I get to know to people from, of course, from countries that I don't know anything about them, like Nigeria. I get to
Mm-hmm.
know to Echo, and I get to know to the Nigerian culture and the Nigerian customs and traditions, which totally different to me.
Mm-hmm.
And she told me things that I get shocked when I listened to them. And we were like talking about the women issues in my country and her country. And you know what, Joe? Every time you get to know to someone from another culture, you get some kind of an enlightenment, and you add some new knowledge to yourself, and you feel like we are all like pieces of puzzle, and we complete each other by getting close to each other and by understanding each other. And
Yes.
it's like we all believe that perfection is only for God, and we humans are not perfect. But
Mm-hmm.
when we put our hands together, we become perfect. We unite our powers, and we unite the power of peace inside us, and we can do something.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about building bridges and understanding the others, and thinking about a good, thinking in a good way, thinking in a good will. That's I think it's so simple and it's so easy, better than building walls or hatred or war. So it's the easy way, believe me, it's the easy way.
Yes, I believe that, and I hear your heart. I love that, the peace
Thank you.
that is in us, that just that God-given desire for peace and for love, and knowing people breaks down fears, and
Yeah.
yeah, and fear just fuels hate, for no reason. But there's something so special about relationship building and getting to know other people, breaking down the stereotypes, the barriers, all those things, and appreciating different cultures and what everybody brings to the table. Yeah, speaking of that, yeah, what Palestinian cooks really bring something to the table. I mean, the food is just, yes,
But be careful
phenomenal.
of the food, it makes you fat.
Well, just the food, the culture. There's just so much beauty in the world, and so much. You're so right that we can learn from others, and it's so simple nowadays. As simple as reaching out to somebody on Facebook, or or some means of social media, just touching people and loving them, and that is so powerful, building those lines of communication. And that's amazing, because then when a country gets bombed, people from that country. It's not just a place on a map, and it's just not a stereotypical person or people that are just being bombed. These are real people. These are mothers, these are daughters, these are nephews and nieces and fathers, and these are real people. And we are all connected. We have to learn that we are all connected, so much on a much deeper level, I believe, than we understand. And when we just step out and make those steps to build those bridges, build those relationships, I just believe it turns the world upside down, and wonderful things happen. Yeah. Do you have anything else to share along those lines?
uh, I don't know, you just tell me.
Oh no, this has been wonderful. Now you and I want to make sure I got this right. Daisies from Palestine, right?
Yes.
and we can find you on Facebook, right? I'm
Yes.
putting that up on the screen. And that's why, everyone, if you're watching, I'm a 56-year-old male. I normally don't have daisies on my background when I do interviews, but I did this for Neda. I did this for my friend, and Daisies from Palestine. That's a very intriguing title, and we can find that on Facebook. What does this mean, Daisies from Palestine?
Okay, let me thank you for giving me the space to talk about it. Actually, let me tell you first of all about the name Daisies from Palestine. Daisy is my favorite flower. And daisy is a wild flower that grows up, where alone and at the side of the roads, and it doesn't need someone to take care of it. It grows up by God's will and by God's care, the sun and rain and wind, and but it makes a very beautiful shape to life. And it's it's like it's a symbol of purity and peace. And in some cultures, it's a symbol of God's, because it's so beautiful, and it brings peace to the person who look at it. And once you care about it and you give it a very special care, it brings you a field of daisies, a field of joy, of love, of change, of of a beauty. So this is the point. And it's like a symbol of women for me. And you know what? And I also like it when Tom Hanks and You've Got an Email brought it to Meg Ryan when she got a cold. So so the other story for Daisies from Palestine is the most important part for me. Uh, since 2014, when I started my struggle way, I used to write everything on my Facebook account and on my blog. I used to write about my experiences, my struggle, my advices for others, and so on. And I used to have messages from friends, from relatives, from friends of a friends, saying that you inspired me, you were an influence to me, you brought a great impact on my life, your words mean so much to me. I like your words. I like the way you look to life. I like that you are so optimistic despite all the pain that you are going through. So I used to give them advices, and I used to network them with organizations to work or to get training. And until now, I spend sometimes I spend a whole day just talking to one person, only advising her or supporting her. And this means a lot to me, because I like doing this. So it's like this project is like, my revenge to all the people who mistreated me or used me on the social or professional level. It's like I want to help others not to get, in the troubles I get to. Or like, I'm so grateful for the people who supported me, that's why I'm going to support another woman. So it's like, even despite the big efforts that the organizations of human rights, women's rights, and gender issues do nowadays, but in the real life there are women who are suffering, or who are, expressing a huge oppression, abuse, piling, what else? I'm losing the words now because it's not my mother tongue. Harassment, yes,
Mhm.
harassment. Yeah. So, and I noticed that there are so many women who only need someone just to put them in the road, or, to push them, or to give them a glance of hope that you worth it, you deserve it, you deserve to live a good life.
Mhm.
I'm here beside you, I can hear you, you matters for me. And
Mm.
and there are, yes, and there are so many women who suffers from the bad customs and traditions, especially in the oriental societies. When they look to women, that once you get married, you just go and raise your kids, and that you can't do anything else. So it's, and it happens, Joe. Not all Muslims are angels, and of course not all of them are devils. And so
No.
it happens until now in most of the development countries and societies. So the point is that why not using, if I can make a difference for the people around me, why
Mhm.
not expanding this circle? Why not, why not helping, why not using my international network to to help another women and another people and another young people? So it is Daisies from Palestine, two sisters, 2 million sisters. I want to pass the million sister. I want to help more than million sister, and
Yes.
that's why I started to work, to work about it seriously this year. So my sister lives in Gaza, and she's handling, or she's responsible for the gallery because she's a painter. In that
Mhm.
gallery, she can gather with young women, making sessions, psychological sessions, the art, using the art of mandala, and
Mhm.
discovering talents and trainings and things like this. And I started also to contact with friends from all over the world, and see if they can give training in terms of topics like leadership, women's rights, human rights, entrepreneurship, online work, e-commerce, soft skills, and things like this. And they
Yes.
agreed. And I made a poll on Facebook, and I found so many messages from women who are ready to take such courses and such trainings, because
Mhm.
as I told you, they need only a glance of hope. They only need a little push to. They need someone to hold their hands and to tell them it's okay, you can go, the road is safe now. So
Mhm.
that's what I'm doing, and I wanted them to experience what I did when I get involved in the international community. So I decided to make like a virtual cultural exchange program, like getting them involved in sessions with people from outside their countries, to
Mhm.
get to know to other cultures and to get to know to other suffering also, because also when you know about other suffering, you also learn something. So this is
Yes.
the point. So this is the point that we need, we need to use our powers or our skills or our talents to show the others the way. And this what I'm doing now. So I'm doing, like the whole project is like stages.
Mhm.
So I'm in the middle stage, and I think this is a good opportunity to me to look about it, because I'm going to make a fundraising campaign, because I have some lack in finance, so I have to do to collect some money for something, for the things
Yes.
that I need. Yeah, so it's good to announce about it here in
Yes.
the interview. Yeah,
Will
so
you be doing the fundraiser on Facebook?
yeah, yeah,
You
yes,
will?
yes.
Okay, so we can be looking out for that and make sure I will advertise that for you, and I will advertise that
Thank you,
on my website. And you're always welcome to contribute to
thank
the
you.
website as well. There are women hurting all over. Just the terrible things that are happening here in the United States as well, with human trafficking. And yeah, and there are certain, there are Christian groups who oppress women as well, and treat women as second
It
class
happens.
citizens. It happens across
It
across
happens
the
all in
boards.
all
Yes.
communities. It
Hmm.
happens in all communities, Joe. I tell you why. Because we humans, we all have a good side and a bad side. And I used to say that, you know what, humans are the most dangerous creatures on this globe.
Hmm.
Why? Because they are the only creatures who can be into by two faces,
Hmm.
hypocritic, who can lie, who can say things that they don't feel, and who can do things that hurt others for no reason.
And who
So
can
it
speak?
happens.
Words are so powerful. Words are so
Yes.
powerful. Yes.
Yeah, it happens. It happens, Joe. So it is, violence or oppression is not related to a certain group or to a
No.
certain culture or something. No, it is it's connected with the humans actually.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
yeah,
Yes, yes, and a lot of time because males tend to be physically stronger, and then there's so many other things that that come into play, and people, yeah, that predatory nature is not who we were created to be. definitely, definitely not. So it's something that yeah, that we all as humans we need to, yeah, we need to, brothers, we need to support our sisters. Uh, Women, men, if you're watching this, Daisies from Palestine, check it out on Facebook. Let's get behind this. Let's support this because if Neda, she has come out of so much and oppression and all kind of things, and by the grace of God, she has. Yeah, she is where she is now, and I know she's going to just continue to excel. But I see where she is. She wants to help lift others and to help other women around the world. And this is not, yeah, it's not exclusively one group or just women. If you are female,
yeah,
and not that you don't help men, but this is specifically for women. And I think this is very powerful. And I hope. My Christian and Jewish sisters, and yeah, Hindus, atheists, whatever it is that you are, if you have a love for mankind and you do not want to see your sisters abused and you want to help them, receive an education if they don't have one, help them, just give them hope. This is going to be a wonderful thing, and Nida, I really appreciate this. You are a Daisy from Palestine, and I know that your uncle is very, very proud of you, and
I
that's such
hope
a sad
so.
story, but I believe that it's beautiful what's happening now, and I believe that the ending is going to be just wonderful, and I look forward to seeing your your eternal rewards for for just these beautiful things that you're doing, and the person that you are, my friend.
Thank you. Joe, I believe that everything happens for a good reason. And I'm
Mhm.
sure that getting to know to you and, interviewing me tonight is for a good reason and a good purpose. So
Mhm.
maybe I can't see it now, but I'll see it in the future. And, or I mean, the impact of it. So,
Mhm.
I'm so I have a very good or a very optimistic look to the future, and I believe that we can
Mhm.
change if we can put our hands together. We can do something for the next generation, and we can do something to change because we just fill up of the worlds and around the world. We as humans, we want to live in peace, and
Mhm.
we just we get sick of the speeches of our leaders about war and about nuclear weapons and this stuff. We just want to live in peace. And
Yes.
the photos of the Ukrainian women nowadays, controlling the whole media, and I feel their pain because I once was in their place. So
Mhm.
it hurts a lot, and I'm telling myself, oh my God, when will this stop? When will
Yes.
this stop?
Yes.
So
But
yeah,
the
so
the difference with this is if the media was covering it like they covered the Palestinian situation, the Ukrainians would be the terrorists, and the and the Russians would just be defending themselves. The Russians would just be there
yeah,
defending themselves, and that's why it can be a little very irritating when you
yeah,
see the way that the media covers things very, very unfairly. But people are getting past that, and they're understanding the reality more and more. And social media has really opened things up, opened people's eyes. And that's a beautiful thing because so many of us in the West, we've been brainwashed since birth. So much about Palestinians, about Muslims, and it's horrible. Just the stereotypes that are there in the media, in our educational system, even in church, and that's a horrible thing. And sometimes it's especially in church amongst Christians, and that's got to be torn down. That's part of my mission is dealing with Christians in America so much, and just helping them to see the beauty in just everybody in the world, and understand that we are all brothers and sisters in humanity, and we've got to love people. I always said this: hating any other ethnicity, race, whatever, is hating a shade of God, you know,
Of
and
course.
it's hating one of His image bearers, and there's no reason for that. There's no reason for that. And as Christians, we're told to love our enemies and to even die for them. This should be the attitude, not attacking and saber rattling and warmongering. That should never be. And that's not the heart of so many people. And Neda, I'm going to tell you something, and I think it's so powerful. I see this next generation, and they make fun of the younger people. Older people, a lot of times, make fun of the younger generation here in America. I don't know how it is everywhere, but
It's
here,
everywhere.
and it's everywhere. And I'm like, the young generation, they want peace. They want peace. And you may think that they're just naive and, or stupid. They're not. They are not. They want peace, and they hate oppression. And so there's so many beautiful things about this younger generation, and the technology that you have at your fingertips to be able to reach out to folks around the world. So I challenge you: make friends around the world. You'd be surprised how you connect. You'd be surprised, you might meet them in person one day. Yeah, little old me, I've been a lot of places. I have friends in every sub-Saharan African nation that I've met in person. I've gotten to travel extensively, and yeah, I'm not a wealthy man when it comes to money, but I am with relationships and experiences and travel. So if you can get on a plane and go somewhere and explore other cultures, please do that. But if not, this social media, the internet, we have ways of connecting with people, and it can be such a beautiful form of travel. It would be wonderful to be drinking tea or coffee in Istanbul right now and having this conversation, but we have the internet, and I'm so thankful for that. And we're living in a time when we can make a great impact. There anything else you'd like to share, Neda, about Daisies from Palestine, or anything else right now?
I want to say that you are worthy of God's love, Joe.
Oh, thank you. You too. You too. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm so grateful for God, because I get to know to you and to all my friends who have left a great impact in my life, like Michelle, who has supported me for so many years, and I owe him my life.
Mhm.
And Adele, Kevin, you, Mary, and Mercy, and all the people I know from, through technology, through Facebook. I'm
Yes.
so appreciated for Mark, despite I hate him, but but I thank him for creating the Facebook. Despite that, he erases most of my posts.
Mhm. They
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
so I'm
they
so
erase
thankful.
posts, and yeah, so
Yeah.
there's a lot of forgiveness, and yeah, and we still use the platform, but yeah, brother
Yeah.
Zuckerberg gives us a hard time. Yeah, yep.
We sometimes say, Joe, we say that we should boycott Facebook because what the policy of Facebook, and that we know. But I
Mhm.
think that we shouldn't do this.
No.
We should use it because of Facebook. You and I are talking now. Because of
Yes.
Facebook, I get to know to Michelle, to Adele, to Susan, to Akko, and to the others. So no, you should boycott it. No, you should
Yes.
you should challenge Mark and do whatever you want.
Yes, and be a voice, and we can do that in a beautiful, peaceful, loving
Of
way. And
course.
if it's taken wrong, or they call your firsthand account misinformation, that's on them. That's on them if they're going to believe and propagate lies. But don't let that silence you. Just keep on sharing. It does matter, and people's lives are being changed. Like to also add, you can go to this interview will be on, it's on Facebook Live, it's on YouTube, but we're going to have it recorded, and so that you can play it back and watch it, and you can access this. If you're looking for peacemaking resources, you can go to my new website, peacedaddy.org. That's a funny name, but that's what it is,
It's
peacedaddy.org.
a unique
And
one, actually.
yes, and there are so many wonderful links there. Jewish Voice for Peace, American Muslims for Palestine. There's so many different Christian organizations we've got on there, and different things that you can reference. That is just fantastic. Short films that you can watch, documentaries on Palestine, just a lot, just chock full of information, and we'll be adding to that on a regular basis. And looking forward to that. Yes, yes. So, all right, this has been wonderful, Neda. I'll tell you, I'm going to let you have the last word here to our listeners and viewers.
Well, the only message I love to talk about is peace, love, and building bridges. So I want every one of us just to make like a kind of enlightenment in his brain and heart, and think of others, and not, think of others as victims. Always suggest the person in front of you is a victim. Do not suggest the bad story. And here is one thing also. Always hear by your ears and see by your eyes, not by the others, because it also makes a difference.
Mm-hmm.
When you hear from others, it is not the real story, believe me, because we should use our own organs to see and to understand, and to believe. And this is like what happens in the Western media about the whole story of the Palestinian. So
Mm-hmm.
they fake the whole story, but if you see by your own eyes, you will see another story. And this is also about the Islamophobia and the other,
Mm-hmm.
main issues. So see by your own eyes, listen by your own ears, and love with all the power you can, or God have brought in you, because love is the key. Love is the key. I base that love is the key.
I mean, all right. Oh, so beautifully spoken. So beautifully spoken. Again, thank you so much for being with us today, Neda. It's been precious. And again, Daisies from Palestine on Facebook. Yes, love her, support her, share the post, help
I need so
women.
I need so many followers, because I'm not active on Facebook very well, especially on the page. So I need follows.
Okay, so do it. Like, follow, and yeah, repost. Just it will help women, and we appreciate that so much. Thank you so much again, my dear sister.
Thank you. Thank
Oh,
you. Thank you, Joe. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
oh, thank you, and until next time, and I hope there is a next time. I
Of
good
course, we can
good
manage
night.
for another time. Yeah.
Yes, good night, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Okay,
Good night.
bless you, my friend. Good night. Bye,
Bless
everyone.
you. Bye.